My 22 female, 19-year age gap with my husband, 41 male, is ruining my life.
Damn.
I knew before our marriage that our age gap would raise some eyebrows, but I felt like I didn't have to explain myself or my choices to anyone, and that people who truly cared for me would accept that. I'm discovering that the issue is far more complex than that. I posted this in Reddit Relationships yesterday, and I got a pretty strong mixed edit. Truthfully, it was mostly negative. General consensus was that my husband is a predator and I'm too young to make my own decisions reaction. But the moderators locked my post because they said my submission was more appropriate for this subreddit. So I hope here people won't be as close-minded. So I am, just so you know, I'm pulling this story from r/age gap. So it's a specific thread just for age gaps.
Okay.
Anyway, this is my situation. My 22 female husband is 19 years older than me. We got married 7 months ago. We've known each other since I was 19. We were friends for about a year and then dated for about a year and a half before getting married. Okay, so didn't really start dating until she was 20, which it's better than 18. The biggest issue is with his mother, my mother-in-law. She has told him that our age gap is inappropriate from the start. She's always been cold, but not mean to me. But recently our marriage passed the 6-month mark, and I think she realized that we weren't going to break up anytime soon. And she started attacking it in any way she could. She told all 5 of his siblings to try to talk him out of being with me. She called me immature and money hungry. I inherited a lot of money when my parents died, so it's impossible for me to be money hungry by being with him. She recently told him I'm not welcome at family events. I got disinvited from my niece's birthday party this week. My husband's brother has tried multiple times to convince him that I have, quote, daddy issues. He has tried to coerce my husband into giving him details about my dead father. My husband refuses to tell him anything in order to support his argument. One of his sisters said she's disgusted by our relationship and she won't let her unborn child know our ages because she doesn't want them to grow up thinking this is normal. Almost as upsetting is the treatment by our friends and coworkers. I've lost multiple friendships. When we were to go out to eat, I'm nervous to kiss or hold his hand in public because of people staring. My husband's coworkers had to be formally warned by HR because they won't stop calling him sugar daddy and gossiping about our relationship.
Wow.
Everything boils down to the simple fact that our relationship, not our behavior, personalities, actions, or background. Neither of us have any children, ex-spouses, or drama. People just don't like that we're together because of our ages. When we got married, I was expecting some prejudice, but nothing like this. It's starting to affect me more. I'm not reconsidering our marriage because I love him and he's the most wonderful person, but I'm having trouble eating, sleeping. I feel blindsided and isolated. At the risk of being judged just as harshly here, why is everyone so uncomfortable with my marriage? Is it fair? Is it unreasonable of me to expect to be treated better? Whew.
I mean, that sucks.
I mean, that one made me sad.
Yeah.
Because I think, unfortunately, like, 19 years is a pretty big age gap. Mm-hmm. Even though they met, totally legal. She's 20. He was 39.
Right.
But it's a big gap. And especially, like, seeing them in public, if he's got gray hair, that's her dad.
Yeah.
Potentially could even be her grandpa, depends on how he aged. So, it's really tough. This one made me feel bad.
Yeah, I feel bad too. And you know what's interesting? She made a comment about somebody saying that she has daddy issues and that's why she's with him or whatever it was.
Yeah, that's like a common thing to hear.
I saw this post recently that was saying how it's interesting how people blame the girl for the man's mistakes.
Yeah.
I don't know why that blew my mind. I never thought about it that way.
I know. The dad fucked up and yet the child is
the
traumatized.
Woman being called daddy issues.
And she's the one that gets stigmatized.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's not, I mean, you do hear it, but it's not as common to hear like, oh, he has mommy issues.
Yeah.
That's not like a common thing, but daddy issues is, I mean, it's printed on fucking t-shirts.
Yeah.
It's so common to hear.
If anything, I hear more often like mama's boy than mommy issues.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is sometimes a red flag.
But anyway, I think that it would just be hard to see such a young girl with your son who you view. I don't know. I think that it would be hard to conceptualize, but I also think that it's like they're married and they're happy. So why are you doing this?
Yeah. I guess too, like, he is only 41. Yes, there's a 19-year age gap, but he's only 41. Like, a lot of people these days don't have kids until their early 40s.
Yeah.
And so it's like he still has this opportunity to have children, have a normal life, and blah, blah, blah. So it's like, I don't know. Like, I think the mother-in-law is being really harsh, being like, you can't come to fucking family events. Like, you're closing off your son by that too.
And does she not invite the son either?
Well,
if I was him, I wouldn't even go.
That's exactly the thing. Like, he's probably still invited because the mom sounds like a fucking bitch.
Yeah.
But he's probably not going to leave his wife at home. And if he did, she should be running for the hills because that's terrible to be treated like that.
This relationship kind of reminds me too of that. What's his name? He produced.
Is it a movie?
No, it's a show that's really popular that with all those really smart nerds.
Oh, are you thinking of the one Chuck Lorre?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, and his wife?
Yeah, it reminds me of Chuck Lorre and his wife, and I've heard nothing but good things about them, and they have a huge age gap, and they're like completely in love and get along so well. And I think that their age gap might even be bigger than this one. But
yeah, I'm not sure what it is.
I think that she was older though, and he was older. So I get how 22, that's such a...
It's young.
Yeah.
To be married, I mean, to just be married in general at 22 is really, I think, young. Like, we've talked about this before, but like, I don't really recognize who I was at 22. I was a totally different, incomplete version of myself.
Same.
So,
however, everyone grows up differently. I look at Kylie Jenner and at what was she, 20 years old? She was a billionaire. So you have to grow up faster when you have a whole billion-dollar business.
Yeah, and like I get, it sounds like this girl's been through a lot of trauma. And there's this thing that I just read recently where it's like, oh, yeah, were you called an old soul growing up? And it's like, yes, okay, I was. And I felt so targeted this day on my For You page. It was fucked. But they're like, okay, well, are you actually an old soul, or did you just have a traumatic upbringing to where you had to grow up quick? And I was like, ooh,
damn.
Okay, this really is the For You page. Because, like, I mean, my mom was working full time, and I, felt very responsible for my younger brother to where, like, I felt like I was raising him at one point.
Yeah.
So it is tough. Like, she went through a lot of trauma. Like, both parents are dead at 22. That's really, I can't imagine that's really hard, traumatic.
Yeah.
So
that is fucked up. And then the mom saying that she has daddy issues, or whoever says
the brother.
The brother.
Yeah. If there's no bad motives, she's not out for his money.
I know, and that's what I was going to say too.
Good together.
It's like if she has money of her own, you can't even pin it on that because there's not that power and balance of money.
Yeah. Yeah, it sounds like she's done with school. I don't even know if she mentioned it. I mean 22, you'd think she's kind of getting close to being done with school, or like starting a career or doing something.
I was done at 21.
Yeah, I was too. So she seems like she's very aware of herself and very, with it. So I don't know. This one's tough. I typically would have been like, ew, 19 years, like, ugh. But this one really made me rethink age gaps.
So what were the comments though? Were people supportive, or
comments are super supportive? I think
good.
I think relationship advice, that thread, and similar with Am I the Asshole? People are like quick to jump and just like that knee-jerk reaction. So I think relationship advice, they're like, ew. Like age gaps there are like instant ew.
Right.
But this is a forum dedicated to just like people with age gaps.
Yeah.
So the top comment, my husband, 51 male, and me, 33 female, got married at the same age you two are and are coming up on our 10-year wedding anniversary. In the beginning, we dealt with the weird stares and occasional comment. Over time, we got rid of the toxic people that weren't supportive. I like the person's replies in the comments above. I know it's easier said than done, but don't let others affect your relationship. You know why you two are together and that you two are happy, and that is all that matters.
Aw.
Love conquers all.
It does.
Or my romantic self would like to believe.